Welcome to The Sound, KQAL FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Minnesota-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Minnesota artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling.
Down, bad, bad.
Tonight on The Sound, we check out the latest album by Winona band Afflatus. Their new album, titled Is Called to Try, consists of 5 new tracks that the band laid down all in one take. Tonight, KQAL's Paige Romanowski sits down with Afflatus drummer Tyler Steinley to talk about the new album, their process, and what the future holds for the band. So stick around for some jangly, loose jams from a band that calls the island city of Winona their home. This is Afflatus with Is Called to Try, tonight on The Sound.
Have you ever seen?
It would seem the farther we float, the more absurd it becomes. Words are less applicable now, but dancing, on the other hand, well, you'll figure it out if you stop trying to.
That was Sandhill Eason from the new album Is Called to Try by Afflatus. In the studio tonight, we have Afflatus drummer Tyler Steinley joining us. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Good. So how long have you been playing the drums? Do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I've been playing the drums since I was like 12, so probably like 10 to 13 years in that range. And then over, I guess, the last year where I didn't have much better to do, I learned how to play the bass too. So I do that. And then I also do production and stuff.
Awesome. And so how was that learning curve going into percussion to bass?
It went pretty well, I think. And it was a good transition because it's still very rhythmic. So I was able to hone in on that. And it was just kind of a matter of learning where the notes were, which I'm still figuring out. And like, I can't really do any crazy stuff, but can at least do the notes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you guys were creating this album, did you have a specific audience in mind that you were creating this for? Or was the process more to listen to what you would like to hear played on the radio?
Yeah, it was definitely the latter. Just kind of, I guess, what we like to listen to in general. Specifically Spenny, who is the kind of creative force behind Afflatus. Who's out on a long road trip right now, so that's why he can't be here. But he got really into specifically a dude named Billy Strings, who's like it's bluegrass, but it's jamgrass. And so, yeah, it's just basically acoustic, or like it's a quartet of just like acoustic instruments, but then they do crazy effects and long drawn out things, and just kind of doing that, and then putting an emphasis more on playing together, I guess, and like just seeing where things go, because on the first 2 albums it was just like, these are the songs, we're gonna record the songs, maybe do some cool stuff over it, but this we just wanted to kind of let go and see what happens. So that's why each song is like also like 10 minutes long. So yeah, that was kind of the process.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that, because I was kind of noticing like an improvisational theme to it, and it's really cool that that's actually how it was. It was just you guys really getting into it and playing it. That's so awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, so besides Billy Strings, what else has piqued your musical interest lately?
Oh man, me personally is kind of all over the place. Like I really like kind of the new wave of country that's going on, and just country in general. And there's a guy named Nick Shoulders I'm really into, who's like, he's got like a crazy mullet and a bunch of tattoos, but he also yodels. So he's like a punk kind of guy. And then as a group, I mean, we're just kind of ever going deeper and deeper into the Grateful Dead. Just as a group, like, new stuff always pops up with them, you know, because there's so much backlog. So that's definitely a major source of inspiration. And then with me, I've just been trying to work on kind of my own stuff sometimes, and through that it's like producing, so just making beats and instrumentals and stuff. So because of that, I've been listening to a lot of hip-hop. Like there's a group called Paris, Texas that just put out their debut. That's super cool.
Awesome. And Paris, Texas, they're hip-hop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a little of everything.
Little
like
of
they're weird, so that's why I really like them.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, right on.
Saw a boat go by, just came out of Lock 5. Hey, I waved 5 fingers. The wave lingered for a while, but the people waved back, and the boat waved more. I counted at least 33 other waves splash the shore. Feeling blue, ain't it funny how the slough brings you all back around. Feeling blue, slew brings you back around.
And that was Blackbird Slew from Afflatus on 89.5 KQAL. And tonight in the studio, we have Tyler here with us. And where did you record this album?
We recorded this at our house, just in the living room. There's also on YouTube a video that is the accompaniment because it was just us. We did this set like 3 times, and then we just kind of picked our favorite set, so to speak, and then went with that one. And so it was just done one take, the one you heard, I suppose, in our living room. Like, we just set up, and that's where the video takes place. That's where I was going with that. And so it's just, our big living room. There's a nice fireplace. We decorated it. We got kind of all the plants we have in the house in the little space, and then we decorated it and got some lights going. But that's where we recorded it, which is cool because I've recorded in a studio a few times, but specifically with Afflatus, all of this stuff has been done at kind of home studios, so it just felt like the natural thing to do.
Awesome. That's so cool. And then it's probably so much more relaxing.
Yeah,
and you
totally.
guys can definitely embrace that improvisational theme that's kind of going on throughout the album. And Blackbird Slough is actually a place here in Winona. It's a body of water.
Yeah.
So what's the connection between the song and the title and the actual place?
Yeah, so Blackbird Slough is a portion of the backwaters of the Mississippi just off Prairie Island Campground here in Winona, so just outside of town, where a lot of really cool stuff happens, like Boats and Bluegrass Music Festival, which holds a very special place in all of the band members' hearts and stuff. And it's just a place that Spenny and I go to a lot just to hang out. Like, it's nice and provides a lot of inspiration. And then specifically, while a lot of these songs were beginning formation, because it's always a long process to get to the song you hear, but as they were going, it was 2 summers ago, Spenny and I, the lead singer and guitarist, actually lived and worked at Prairie Island. He lived in a camper, and I lived in my van for the summer, and we just hung out by the river.
Nice.
And we had access to all the boats and stuff, so when we had a free
fun.
moment or like our days off, we were able to go back there and just kind of hang out. So that is kind of a special place, and that's what that's referencing to. And just like the Lock 5 that it referenced in the lyrics is a place like just kind of in the backwaters there, just off the main channel. So it's just a pretty direct reference to that specific spot.
Awesome. And that's so awesome that you guys are able to incorporate like that. It has a personal connection to you, and that can be reflected in your music. That's so great. And what type of drums did you first learn on, and what types do you prefer playing now?
Yeah, I learned, first I just practiced on like a drum pad, because I started in like percussion and band just normally, so that was kind of how I learned, and then gradually worked up to wanting to play a drum set, and then I just kind of the drum set I have now, which is the same setup, and then from there, once I got more comfortable with drums, I just kind of found different stuff. I don't know, that's interesting, like hand drums, and this specifically I'm really inspired by a dude named Mickle, who plays a lot with Charlie Parr and Mike Munson and other kind of folk people, and he does the washboard. And so that's how I got really interested in that. And then Spenny and I, just in our various kind of adventures around Winona, like to bring our instruments and jam, and it's hard to bring a whole drum set, especially when I'm like biking around. So I would often just have like my washboard. And so that's kind of how we got used to playing with that. And then as we started preparing this album, Spenny wanted to do more stripped back because he's been listening and been inspired by a lot more acoustic kind of stuff. And so then that's where my washboard set came in. It was like a nice touch, but it's not as in your face as a drum set.
Yes.
And then the kick drum I use in the video when you watch is actually it's a marching snare drum that was converted by my cousin into a little kick drum.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of cool to do, a homemade thing.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's really cool, and especially like having like a family member or relative make it, like that's always going to be super special. And wow, that's awesome.
Remember that story? Nor do I. Must have been told by some other guy. Can't remember the story, stuck in the same way. Can't remember the story, stuck in the same way. Can't remember the story, I know it's all just a haze. Watch the Sherpa chirp, just to say, then sway to new words. These words never occurred to a man. Used to be me, now back to sleep in the shade of the elm tree. We came from highway. Stuck in the mud. Stuck in the mud. Stuck in the mud. Story never gets told anymore these days. Remember that story never gets told the same way. Remember that story, you know it's all just a haze. Watch the Sherpa chirp, used to say, didn't sway to new words. His words never occurred to a man. They used to be me, now back to sleep in the shade of the elm tree. We came from highway, got for you ride. We came from highway, by now we got a beyond a night light. Oh no. They said we can get rid of your cares. Get rid of your cares. And there were 3 bears. They said we can get rid of your cares. Get rid of your cares. It was hot, cold, just right. Skipped a step to the cellar, slid down the banister, found a crack with just enough room to fit our head and slide our back. We got some porridge for you to try. 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 Oh my, it was hot, cold, just right. Took a stroll down a forbidden street, wondering what we might see in the trees. And then something funny started happening beneath our feet. The pavement starts to sway, but then drip, 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 drips away. We got some porridge for you to try. Just passing by, and they said to us, we got some porridge for you to try. 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 Oh my, it was hot, cold, just right. This is the forest, the ferns did show us why the critters and creatures claim they know us. You can only ever show up if you're not quite sure. Lucky for us, we're never sure. We got some porridge for you to try.
All right, so that was Porridge by Afflatus right here on 89.5 KQAL. In the studio tonight, we have Tyler with us. So Tyler, very few of the songs on this album actually have a lot of like focus on vocals. So is there a specific reason for this?
Just kind of what I said earlier, how it's like we wanted to see where it went. And then Spenny is really good at coming up with lyrics, but in that setting, they kind of act as the framework, I guess. Like, it definitely gives the idea of the song, kind of the vibe we're going for, like with what's going on, and kind of surreal at times. But as a whole, we just wanted, the instruments to have a little more space,
Sure.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but in Sandhill Eason, the voice that comes in, is that Spenny's voice?
No, so that's
Yeah.
that's a local, and if you listen to our first 2 albums, he's also in the the tracks
Okay.
of those. So he's someone we've collaborated with a lot, and his name is Paul Barrett. He lives in town here. Yeah, he's a cool older guy who used to be a mail carrier. I think he just retired. So. And he's just around. He's super supportive of local music, and he's at all the shows. And he's just an awesome person. So that
Cool.
has been pretty important to Spetty throughout like his time here in Winona. Like, they've had some hikes together and stuff where they, he's Paul has shown Spenny some new sides of the town, which
Yeah.
is really cool. So
That's always
Yeah.
interesting to see, especially from like a local perspective. And you could just really hear that thick Midwestern accent.
yeah,
come out.
definitely.
And I was like, I'm wondering if this is like a Foley or like a clip from something. But
Yeah, no, he came to our house and hung out for a while and recorded it, and we did it a few times. And just how he says his kind of meter, I guess, in the beginning isn't definitely how you would normally say the sentences, I guess, but that kind of
Right.
adds. That's totally his personality, and just kind of adds to us. So
Yeah.
it was cool to have him there doing it.
Awesome. That definitely adds to it. Yeah. And so I know you guys were talking about the different musical instruments and some other artists, but other than that, what other musical influences have you had? I know you talked about like Blackbird Slough. Are there other places around Winona that have been musically influential to you?
Yeah. I guess specifically with Afflatus, we're really inspired just by like the Mississippi River as a whole. Like, if you go to there was a time when we were driving home from this music festival we played at, and my car broke down in Little Falls, Minnesota, and that also was a town on the river. And I don't know, there's just like a very specific feeling that comes with river towns, and specifically this area, the Driftless, is so unique and beautiful. So it's just like kind of, I guess, just various places we find have those inspirations. And a lot of times we have our instruments with us, and so it just kind of comes naturally. I guess no specific places. Like, I know you're going to play Island City later, and that's just about Winona as a whole. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so cool that it just can come so organically with you guys. That's awesome. And how does it feel to create and then produce your own music? I know that you've been running Weeds Records. So how has that impacted your musical career?
Yeah, it's been cool because the point of the label is to open collaboration. With that collaboration comes just more stuff. I don't know. So I've gotten to meet a lot of people and kind of start new projects and just watch things grow, which has been super cool for me.
That was Minnesota Goodbye here on 89.5 KQAL. In the studio with us tonight is Tyler from Afflatus. And Tyler, in Minnesota Goodbye and Sandhill Easin, the sound of birds native to the Midwest is played throughout the songs. Mm-hmm. Do these birds have like symbolic meaning to you or the group? And were they created like from outside, or was it more of like a Foley?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess just the significance that they are native and important to the area is kind of why they're there. The birds themselves, not really, I suppose, besides it just sounds really cool, and like I said, it's native to the area, so that's kind of what we were going at. But those were all field recordings. So
Awesome.
There was, the Sandhill was, I believe, it wasn't in Decorah. We recorded some in Decorah, but we actually, Spenny on his own found a sandhill on a hike or whatever and heard it, and so that's what that recording is. And then at the end, the weekend after we recorded it, but the week before I was gonna start mixing it, I was just at my folks' house on a lake in Savage, Minnesota, and we were by the campfire, and I heard loons going crazy, and I thought that would be cool. Yeah. And especially, I don't know, sandhills, if you think about it, I suppose in this way, is like sandhills are kind of like morning or like during the day, where loons, this was at night when they were going like that, and that happens, kind of seems where they show up more frequently and do the calls, so kind of is like a beginning and an end in its own.
Wow, that's really awesome, especially symbolic since the title is Minnesota Goodbye.
Yep.
Awesome. Do you guys have any live shows coming up?
Unfortunately not. So shows are starting to come back, which is super cool, and I'm really excited. But just because of just kind of how the past year has been, a lot of our members are just kind of at crucial points where they're taking the summer to just kind of go and do their own thing. Yeah. So we're taking an Afflatus hiatus, we say, and then, but we are planning on playing again in the fall. We have a festival slot lined up. At this upcoming thing that will probably be, more info will come out later, but there's going to be a local festival in September. Okay. And then hopefully just at Ed's, like, that's our favorite spot, maybe Broken World. Those are, just around. We'll be around.
Awesome. That's great, because we love to hear from you. And I'm very new to this whole thing, and I've been able to listen to all this amazing music that I didn't even know was in Winona before. Yeah, and now I just want to tell everyone about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
super stoked to hear that.
Awesome. And on that note, where can listeners find more of your music? Where can we get more information?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram where that kind of can keep you up to date with our goings-ons, and then Spotify, the Weeds Bandcamp. There's that, plus a lot of other good tunes. And just kind of wherever. And then the video is on YouTube on the Weeds channel. And it just look up Afflatus is called to try, and then you're good to go.
All right. Is there anything else you'd want to add before we end up closing tonight?
Yeah, so I guess I just realized I forgot to mention, I do want to give some credit to Harrison McCormick, because he made the video, he directed it and edited it, and he did a really killer job. And then Connor Sternberg, our roommate, did the live sound. So we set up the recording together, but as it was playing, he got the levels good and stuff. So those are two crucial people that aren't in the band that did it. And then Afflatus is Spenny on guitar. These are the other fellas that couldn't make it. Jackson Ramsland on bass, Louis Miller on guitar, and then, I'm Tyler. So that's the crew that was involved in the album.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight, Tyler. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And we will be looking forward to the end of the Afflatus hiatus this fall.
Excellent.
And can't wait to hear from you again.
Sweet. Thanks.
Thanks again to Tyler Steinley of Afflatus for joining us tonight on The Sound. For more info and music from the band, check out Afflatus on Bandcamp or your favorite streaming service. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6 right here on 89.5 KQAL. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from Tyler Steinley of Afflatus on The Sound. Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.